What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Today we're going to be checking out another episode or another video from Casual Geographic. Um, this video interested me because the title and the thumbnail mentioned something about murder hornets, and it also showed something about horses eating snakes. I didn't know what the hell. The reason why I clicked it was because I wanted to learn what the hell. I mean, it didn't need to be clickbait. It was attention grabbing enough. I think that if snakes are starting to eat, if cows are starting to eat snakes, they're only a hop, skip, and a jump away from eating humans. That's some information that we need to know. If cows are going to start turning around and eating us back, then this is some information that is very critical to human survival. But just a quick announcement. I have announced in my previous set of videos, so I'm going to announce it for all the videos that I'm doing today. I am stepping away from TV show reactions. I'm going to be focusing a lot more on YouTube videos like this. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not taking TV show requests or anything like that, because I still will in the future. If people want me to watch a TV show, all you have to do is, if enough people request it in a comment or something, then I'll go ahead and do that. Or it can get requested through a super chat during my live streams or something. But for the most part, I'm going to focus on YouTube videos again. I did explain in the previous video, and I do have a thread up on my channel right now where I will be addressing that. So if you have any comments about that, go to that thread on my YouTube community tab and type it over there. Try to keep the comment sections for the TV shows that I've released today and this YouTube video clear, and try to focus on the subject of the video or something related to the channel. Not necessarily that, though, because I want that to be over there. So if I did get enough comments, I'll make a video addressing the comments. But with that being said, let's find out about some murder hornets, because the whole murder hornet phenomena, even the name murder hornet, I think is more so something that was sensationalized by the media and everything to have something that could create fear amongst people so that they would stay tuned to the news to figure out, oh, what's the murder hornets up to? Where are the murder hornets at? That's kind of, at this point, the news has become so sensationalized. I usually am very skeptical when I watch certain things, because people are looking for that reaction simply because they want the ratings, not so much that they're looking for a significant story. But with that being said, let's go and jump into this and find out what happened to the murder hornets. 1 second. There we go.
Do you ever wonder what happened to those murder hornets? 2020 was like a terrible final season. At one point, there was a giant murder hornet storyline.
Where's this music I'm hearing?
These were highly venomous Asian giant hornets, which erase about 30 to 50 names in Japan a year. In 2013 alone, they turned 42 people into past tense and one Chinese.
I need to know this music. Is this Donkey Kong Country?
Was a giant murder hornet storyline that everyone just forgot about.
Sounds like
These
Donkey
were highly
Kong Country.
venomous Asian giant hornets, which erase about 30 to 50 names in Japan a year. In 2013 alone, they turned 42 people in the past tense in one Chinese province. And apparently they illegally entered the United States, with the first sightings happening in Blaine, Washington towards the end of 2019. Which is kind of a problem, because one hornet nearly unsubscribed Coyote Peterson from life, so imagine getting jumped by an entire nest. Not only that, but these murder hornets will slaughter entire beehives. So what happened? Well, the department...
I did not know that Coyote Peterson got stung by a Japanese hornet. I thought that he was stung by the warrior wasp, the tarantula hawk, bullet elephant, bullet ant, but I didn't know that he got stung by the murder. I might have to watch that. Japanese hornet. That's what we call them, the real names.
So what happened? Well, the Department of Agriculture made it clear that we couldn't give them a chance to establish in America. Basically, the government said it was on site. Hornet nests that were found were quickly put out of commission for the sake of our way of life. One nest had allegedly 200 queen hornets before they were all put in a pack.
Queen
hornets. Yeah, we
hornets.
went to war against hornets, but the thing is, It might not be over. On June 4th, a dead dried hornet was found near Washington State. Now, scientists believe it was an old hornet from last year. But these hornets typically emerge from hibernation in July, and all the homicidal hood flies that we didn't kill off could be returning for a season 2. But two things. One, this murder hornet is actually rarely ever lethal to people, and two, wildlife experts believe it would be impossible for them to become a permanent resident invasive species in America. Basically, Asian hornets are like TikTok trends or performative activism. A big deal in the moment, but they're overblown and they don't last that long. That being said, they typically reemerge from hibernation in July, so if they are planning to run it back, it's gonna be tough for the cancer. This episode of Australia is a simulation. This cow was caught eating something suspicious. When the worker took a closer look, he realized the cow was slurping a whole ass snake like it was a strand of mom's spaghetti.
No, hold up. Of course it's Australia. Was there any question whether or not this stuff happened anywhere else other than Australia? Like, Australia, you need to get your damn animals in check, man. I don't know what's up with that area, but it's like, now your cows are starting to become carnivores? What the hell's going on? Like, your cows are becoming predators. Now, I know the stereotype is that Australia has all, like, crazy wildlife, but I'll be damned if now you're going to talk about they got killer cows. There's no way.
It's gonna be tough for the cancer. This episode of Australia is a simulation. This cow was caught eating something suspicious. When the worker took a closer look, he realized the cow was slurping a whole ass snake like it was a strand of mom's spaghetti. This wasn't some F-tier garden snake. It was a sand python that got turned into a cow's chew toy. Now, to be fair, cows have always been off. Technically, they're herbivores, but cows have been known to chew on the carcasses of other dead animals. In Australia, that often means dead kangaroos. They'll sometimes even suck on the bones of other cows, but the snake, that was new. Farmers believe they do this because low levels of phosphorus in the soil means less phosphorus for the cows. Not enough phosphorus can cause weaker bones, and for cows it can lead to botulism, which is bad. Phosphorus deficiency can also lead to osteophagia, where an animal like a cow chews or eats the bone of another dead animal. And you thought they were innocent. Nah, they ain't safe either. This cow is low on vitamin P, but instead of taking a supplement, he said F it and decided to take a python instead. That sentence makes no sense anywhere else in the world but Australia. Moral of this video, Australia has no food chain, it's a fucking free-for-all.
We finally have to talk about it.
My question is, how does a cow, because a cow isn't designed to hunt snakes. I mean, it's possible that snake wasn't poisonous or anything. I'm not an expert when it comes to snakes, so I don't know if that's a poisonous snake or not. Given the fact that it's Australia, it's very likely that it's poisonous, but if it isn't, then that changes things. But cows don't have, I don't think, the equipment to hunt snakes. So how is this thing just like casually? I would imagine if it caught a snake, it'd be like a fight or something. Like it's not just going to be sitting here be like casually chewing on a damn snake like it's a piece of beef jerky. I want to know what the hell the story is behind this picture. It just like, just looking at it, it looks like the cow just ran up to it and just like started biting. You don't see like no bite marks, no blood, nothing. It's just, it just walked up to it and just grabbed it.
Makes no
I see a little
sense
snip on the snake, the cow's ear, but don't think that was from the snake.
It's a fucking free-for-all.
We finally have to talk about it. Koalas are just dumb. Like, they're literally their own biggest obstacle.
I just want to add to the koala slander real quick because there's one special thing about them that not nearly enough people know. And you know me, I don't really need a reason to put them on blast. So y'all know eucalyptus, right? Now I'm going to ignore the fact that their entire personality is eating something that nature made abundantly clear is not supposed to be.
I think I know what this is about. If this is about the babies, then I know that koala babies eat their mom's poop so that they can build an immunity to some of the more harmful elements of eucalyptus. Because if they just eat it like from birth, they would probably die. So they have to eat the poop so that their body can get used to it, and then they can start eating the leaves.
It's poisonous, hard to chew, and has zero energy, but of course a koala gon' koala. But that's not the problem. The problem is they literally can't even digest the one thing they insist on eating. They need special gut bacteria to break down the toxins of the eucalyptus. And of course an animal that isn't smart enough to understand rain isn't gonna comprehend probiotics. So to get the bacteria and, you know, not starve to death, the baby koala will nuzzle up to the mother in the, you know, this position. The baby will tickle the mother until she releases a green paste called cecum fecal pap. For months, the baby will eat its mother's poop just so it can spend the rest of its life nerfing itself by eating eucalyptus. Koalas have been around for about 25 million years, yet the best thing they can do is eat and look cute. To be fair, lots of animals do this, but koalas eat just for something that isn't even worth eating in the first place. Snakes like the...
Alright, I know that snake is, I believe, has the record for longest fangs.
Something that isn't even worth eating in the first place.
I believe that's the snake with the biggest fangs.
snakes like the python can actually swallow things bigger than their head. A lot of people think snakes unhinge or dislocate their jaws to do this, but that's not what they do. It's actually weirder. That's because for snakes, the bones in the lower jaw, called the mandibles, aren't connected the same way they are with us. Instead, they're held together by a stretchy ligament. These two jaw
Okay, I
bones
know
work
it splits,
independently
but I
and
did
actually
think
spread
it
apart from each other, which
disconnected.
you can see here. I
So
really hope Down Bad Mike don't see this. That demonic yawn is how snakes like pythons can deep
Who's
those things
Down
down as
Bad
they have no
Mike?
business even attempting. For reference, if you were built like a python, you'd be able to swallow a whole watermelon without chewing and without using your hands. All thanks to those two bones. Because those two jaw bones work on their own, they can slowly inch whatever they're trying to eat towards the back of their throat, basically like walking their jaw over their victim. A snake's mouthpiece is so flexible that the bigger ones like anacondas, boas, and pythons can swallow deer, goats, alligators, and even small cows. If it makes you feel any better, this is an emerald tree boa, and since they're non-venomous, they're basically harmless. Might cost you a few
Except-
extra sessions of therapy, but I promise you there's worse snakes in your life. You probably dated
Yeah.
them. Yeah, whoever designed this shrimp was on LSD. The mantis shrimp just makes no
I know about the mantis shrimp. Them things have eyes that, I don't know if they're the best eyes in the animal kingdom, but they have some really
snakes
good
in your life.
eyes.
You probably dated them. Yeah, whoever designed this shrimp was on LSD. The mantis shrimp just makes no sense as a living animal. Let's talk about it. This shrimp can throw a punch at 50 miles per hour. Not only can they throw hands
I thought that was
faster
the
than
pistol
literally
shrimp,
anything else on Earth,
or is it the same
acceleration of
thing?
a punch is basically the same as getting hit with a 22. Yeah, God gave them the right to bear arms and they act accordingly. Their punch is so quick that it causes a cavitation bubble to form, and when it pops, it's hotter than the surface of the f***ing sun. Built
Yeah,
like an
I thought
underwater
that was
python
a
with
pistol
left-hand
shrimp.
Thanos, the mantis shrimp hunts by repeatedly striking the shells of clams, snails, and crustaceans until a shell splits open. It's that in the heat of getting pimp slapped by Lucifer.
Hold on, let me see that arm come off again. Hold up, go back.
The f***ing sun. Built like an underwater pride symbol with the left-handed.
It didn't look like it was that
Mantis shrimp hunts
fast.
By repeatedly striking the shells of clams, snails, and crustaceans until a shell splits open.
Damn.
It's that in the heat of getting pimp slapped by Lucifer that makes it easy for the mantis shrimp to turn its prey into a prayer. And if it wasn't for the fact that they can shatter aquarium glass, they'd actually be dope pets. Not even the only crazy thing about them. Their eyesight is so advanced that they can see polarized and ultraviolet light that's invisible to us. And where we have 3 color receptors, God said, why not, and decided to give this shrimp 16. They don't see more colors than we do the way some people think, but each row of photoreceptors is designed to detect a different kind of light. Oh, and they have 360 vision, because nature really pimped out the shrimp for no reason. 10 things you didn't know about the world's grumpiest cat. It's a palace cat. And
I'll go back a bit. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's interesting because, and I've said this before, the things you spent your entire life seeing is not how the world actually looks. Like that, isn't that an interesting thought? Like everything you see in front of you, you're only seeing a fraction of what it actually is. Like everything that you're looking at, you can't comprehend what it actually looks like. So everything in front of us, what that we've been seeing our entire lives, is we're not getting the full picture. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but I mean, that's just something that always got me when I think about it.
nature really pimped out the shrimp for no reason. 10 things you didn't know about the world's grumpiest cat. It's a palace cat, and it's basically the snow leopard's little brother found in the same Central Asian mountain ranges like the Himalayas. They're one of the highest cats on the planet. One palace cat was found 18,300 feet in the mountains. That's as high as more than 14 Empire State Buildings. It's around that height where your body would start to fall on you because of lack of oxygen. Palace cats can survive being that high because just like snow leopards, or ice tigers if you know you know, they have huge lungs, a powerful heart, and massive nasal cavities to pull in more air. They are massive introverts, and the only way they ever tolerate each other is when they want to make more of themselves. They're so good at surviving where they honestly have no business that when you take them out of the mountains, they actually start to struggle, which is why they're a bad idea for a pet. Also, they're closer
Really?
to cougars, ocelots, and servals than they are to domestic cats, but if you try to play him like a pet, he will remind you. Also, you'll probably never see one in a zoo. Nature made them so good at living in the mountains that they literally can't survive anywhere else, so when you take them out, they usually get canceled by diseases that they wouldn't have to worry about up in God's attic. No fact here, I just think this is cute. They are Pikachu's biggest op. Their favorite food is the Pika that the shock mouse is named after. Google doesn't respect them because if you look up ugly-eared cat, they pop up. 5 sponge facts that
Damn.
might change the way you look at Robert. Most sea sponges are hermaphrodites, making them both male and female at the same time. And
Is
since
that
they
a
don't
shot
move,
at
they get it
SpongeBob?
on by either budding or by blasting baby back
Robert.
onto the ocean, hoping it finds eggs to fertilize. Since they're an easy target for turtles and some fish, most sponges are toxic and use chemical weapons to defend themselves. The Caribbean fire sponge is actually poisonous enough to cause a severe rash to anybody who tries to hold it. Since some of the most toxic chemicals in science can be found in sponges, doing this could put you straight in the ER.
The funny thing is when I see this image and I saw the last image, I can like pinpoint my mind exactly what part of an episode that was from or what episode that was from, as well as what I was doing when I first saw that. SpongeBob I guess has a really big hook in my childhood. Even though I didn't really watch SpongeBob all that much, but because I grew up in a household that had other people that watched SpongeBob, or the TV just happened to be on Nickelodeon a lot, I've happened to come across SpongeBob so much that I've subconsciously started to associate images with SpongeBob without even knowing it.
Who tries to hold it. Since some of the most toxic chemicals in science can be found in sponges, doing this could put you straight into ER. These sponges can be used to fight cancer. Russian researchers isolated a compound from a sponge whose name gives me anxiety and synthesized it, and the result was a substance that killed prostate cancer cells. Starfish eat by
its name has rectal in it.
Mouths, wrapping it around their prey, digesting it from the outside before retracting it.
I know it's kind of Latinized, but I saw rectum.
The starfish eat everything, including, sponges were the first animals, and it's possible they're the sister group to every living animal on Earth. By that I mean a very, very, very long time ago, there was a common ancestor for every animal alive, and sponges were the first to diverge from that ancestor. If that's true, that means for everything. I'm talking about you, your dog, Harambe, that squirrel in your attic you haven't met yet. The sponge is a sister group for all of them. So basically that shirt, that tie, and that thigh gap was the blueprint for life as we know it. The more you know. Fescaplicynopsis reticulata.
Now, I'm going to say something that could be stupid again, but I mean, given the fact that I admitted that I'm stupid, so hopefully that should give me a leeway with it. I always simplified evolution in a sense that you can tell what had common ancestry based on how the embryo of that species looks. Because when a creature is first being created, it starts off on its bare basic characteristics until eventually it starts to develop more, and then it starts to get its more unique look. But if you look at most animals when they're first starting to develop in the womb or wherever, in the egg or whatever else, you notice a similarity between them, between like humans, between birds, between lizards, between like all the animals. Just about, you'll see like a somewhat of a similarity. It's just a dumb thought, but
the more you know. Fescaplicynopsis reticulata.
Okay, flex on it some more. Damn.
The other day somebody called me a walking Pokédex, and they're not wrong. That's a European badger. There's about 5 types of badgers, and this little crackhead
people have been called worse.
Honey badgers aren't true badgers. That family right there has a European badger, the Asian badger, and a Japanese badger. But American badgers are all the way down there. And that's because American badgers aren't even closely related to other badgers. Because when America was fighting for independence, apparently the badger was right there in them trenches. Nah, but for real, even though they're both badgers, they're not even closely related. These guys just look like they have their life together. He works a 9 to 5, picks up his kids from soccer practice, and invites his neighbor over for scones and tea every Tuesday. This dude is a corner store methie that swings broken beer bottles at anyone that makes eye contact, but they're pretty similar. American
he looks like a
coyotes to hunt,
badger
and
on meth.
Will squat up with foxes. They're both carnivores, but they'll eat anything that fits in their mouth, and both give 0 fucks. Because where Americans will square up with bobcats, cougars, and sometimes grizzlies, Europeans will step to wolves, lynxes, and sometimes brown bears. They also stab pad with one badger murking an entire chicken coop. Sometimes European badgers will break into beehives and eat honeycombs while actively being stung by hundreds of bees. And I was not kidding about American badgers stepping to grizzly bears. They usually get clapped, but an effort was made, and I respect that. Moral of this video, badgers are wolverines with short person syndrome, and I fucking love them for it. 3 animals that are way stronger than society taught you. First we have swans, because these pond pigeons are what geese think they are.
I heard they can break your arm with their wings.
Swans can actually do damage. Not only can they allegedly break your arms with their wings, one took a man's life by drowning him. They've also murked dogs by beating them to death with those wings. You could try to humble a swan by grabbing its neck, but you're still risking your entire way of life with this hell tweet.
I'm sorry, I don't care how deadly a swan is. If somebody's getting beat to death by a swan, it will always be funny. I'm sorry. Tell the truth. If somebody was getting their ass whooped by a swan and you walked past and saw it, no matter how devastating it looked, you gotta admit it's a funny visual. I'm sorry. I'll try to help him, of course, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't like chuckle a little bit.
With those wings. You could try to humble a swan by grabbing its neck, but you're still risking your entire way of life if this hell Tweety goes for your eyes. The biggest swan is the mute swan, which can weigh over 30 pounds. They're everything geese are on steroids. This is Patrick the Wombat. Wombats are keg barrels with legs. Wombat booties are reinforced with cartilage and fat, so if this furry bowling ball rear ends you, it could actually break your leg. They're so sturdy that they can put your car out of commission and sometimes even launch you off the road. Cause hitting a wombat's like hitting a curb with the face. Not to mention they defend themselves by running to their burrow and then using their backside to crush the skull of a predator against the roof of their burrow. And last we have donkeys. Eeyore ain't a bitch, he really bout that. Donkeys will not only delete a coyote, but they've been known to play with their corpse like a rag doll. If you're a rancher, you're better off trading your shotgun for a donkey because you don't have to load a donkey. Because they're black Air Force horses. There's a reason this homicidal barcode is more badass than horse. 7 deadly sins, but because I am the way I am, represented as animals. Envy's definitely the common house sparrow because if she finds out her mate's been cheating on her, she'll proceed to butcher and abort the chicks he had with another female. Why do y'all go after everyone but the actual cheater? I don't get it. Lust is definitely the anti-kindness because he won't stop spreading his seed until his immune system shuts down, his body disintegrates, and bro just becomes past tense. Bro really experiences post-nut clarity in the afterlife. Gluttony is the Argentinian wide-mouthed frog because they never stop eating.
Yeah, I think those are the frogs that like will literally suffocate themselves trying to eat something that's way too big. Like they'll eat something so big that it completely closes their esophagus and they like can't breathe or nothing, but they will not let it go. Even if it's killing them, they won't let it go.
It's not clarity in the afterlife. Gluttony is the Argentinian wide-mouthed frog because they never stop eating. The only way this kamikaze stops is if it either chokes to death or literally tears its stomach open. These frogs will die trying to swallow something physically bigger than they are. Wrath is no one else but the hippo because every year they RSV at least 500 people to Heaven's house party in Africa alone. And let's be real, the number's probably higher, we just haven't found the bodies yet. Sloth is a sloth because that just makes sense.
That's kind of
Pride
true.
is a peacock because being a show-off helps them bag a female, but it also helps them get bagged by a tiger. Those feathers make it harder for them to fly and impossible to see behind themselves, which is why its biggest flex often gets it buried. And greed is a
reacted
because
to
they can shove 40% of their body weight
animals
down their throat, and they'll eat so
that got
much
the middle
they can't
finger by
walk
evolution.
afterwards.
Peacock was
40% would be like the average man scarfing 140 burgers in 30 minutes. The more you know. Let's talk about the blobfish. This is what they actually look like. It's just that they live up to 4,000 feet below the surface at the bottom of the ocean. That's almost 3 Empire State Buildings. It's only when you drag them to the surface that they look like a deformed Kirby with a botched nose job. For those of you that try to slander my baby, this
I say they look more like that thing from Earthbound, the little head figure with the thing coming out. I forgot what it's called, but those of you that play Earthbound, y'all know what I'm talking about.
You drag them to the surface that they look like a deformed Kirby with a botched nose job. For those of you that try to slander my baby, this is what you'd look like if you had to live in his hood. Stay humble. If a normal fish lived that deep, its swim bladder would get forced out of its mouth and it would fold to water pressure. But the blobby has no swim bladder, no bones, and basically zero muscle, which is why they can handle more pressure than a college student with immigrant parents. I would know. Basically, by being built like gelatin, the blobfish uses water pressure as its structural support, which goes away if you bring them up to the surface. The blobfish only has one natural predator. Unfortunately, it's one of the most dangerous things alive. That's right, we are the biggest threat to a blobby's way of life since they can get caught in trawling nets and die. Now, we don't know a whole lot about them since they live in Satan's basement, but some scientists believe there's less than 500 of them left in the world. Either that or they're elite at hiding and we're just bad at seeking. Anyway, they can handle—
How the hell can we know if there's only 500 left if we've only discovered like less than 10% of the world's oceans, and this thing lives in an area that is already hard to explore without like super specialized equipment, and it's pitch black down there, so it's not great when it comes to seeing.
Less than 500 of them left in the world.
I'll
Either
see
that
how.
or they're elite at hiding and we're just bad at seeking. Anyway, they can handle 120 times more pressure than we gotta deal with, so y'all gonna stop slandering my blobfish. You can slander him though.
Damn.
If you—
Yeah, that dude looks screwed up. This will be the next one I react to, by the way. But yeah. If you guys have learned anything, be sure to let me know. Now, there was a couple things in there I knew already. When it comes to like animals and stuff like that, I try to learn as much as I can. Around the time when I was talking earlier about people in the house watching SpongeBob and stuff, I was watching National Geographic. I was watching Animal Planet, the most extreme, and what was the name of that wildlife specialist? Jeff Corwin, I think his name was. I used to watch a lot of that stuff. I used to read the Zootopia books. I think not Zootopia. What the hell was it called? Zoopedia. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. The magazines. My favorite was the dinosaur copy, of course, but I used to read those a lot. Yeah, a lot of nature documentaries in this person's past. But let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Very important you hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. Only if you enjoyed the video, because it definitely helps the channel out as far as the algorithm and getting the video recommended to more people. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to comment in the comment section down below. If you have any videos that you want me to check out, feel free to let me know. I will be checking to see what type of videos are being recommended, and we'll be reacting more to them. Because like I said, now that I'm focusing more on YouTube videos, I would like to see what the people that watch these videos will be into, so I can get a good feel for what type of videos the community are big into. But anyway, I'm gonna give you the deuces. I look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. I thought I saw something right there. Anyway, if you want to show support outside of just hitting the like button, you can always join my Patreon or sign up for a t-shirt in the ad that you saw earlier, TeePublic. I have the link in the description box. It has a ton of different t-shirt, graphic tees and whatnot. I just recently added graphic tees for Big Trouble in Little China, as well as Spider-Man Far From Home, to go in line with the movie that I reacted to on Patreon. So I have t-shirts themed after that. I'm constantly adding new t-shirt designs, so feel free to check that link and look at it. And it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just helps, a percentage of the proceeds goes towards the channel and helps me, try to modernize this thing as much as I can. But anyway, I'm signing out. I look forward to seeing you guys later. I'm gonna give the deuces, and I'm out. Peace.